Now this show just got way better.
Oh my God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm.
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
So maybe some of you know that I wasn't a fan of the first 2 episodes of The Proud Family Louder and Prouder. I do like the original show. Both the humor and just that whole family dynamic works for me. But last week I experienced the premiere of Louder and Prouder as a huge downgrade. But now is not the time to dwell in the negativity of that. If you want to know my reaction to episodes 1 and 2, it's linked in the top right if you want to watch that next. But this episode actually takes its time and its moments to tell a story about being true to yourself, about standing up for yourself despite parental pressures. Actually has 2 characters that learn from each other in a surprising way. It's an episode where I even laughed a couple of times. Now, how did this happen? Hello, fellow Disney Plus watcher. I am excited to talk about Disney Plus with you today. New here? Why not click these 2 buttons if you love Disney Plus as much as I do? Welcome. I got a few comments on the previous video from last week that said, honestly, you don't get the show, man. It's made for Generation Z. It's supposed to be this way. Well, I'm sorry. I appreciate the criticism. I do. I can take it. But this is more like it. This feels like Proud Family. Sure, not every moment is earned. This stuff isn't perfect. But for a show that is a sequel to a 20-year-old cartoon, episode 3 called It All Started with an Orange Basketball comes pretty close. So just fair warning here, I do feel the need to discuss spoilers. We're gonna break the episode down. If you haven't seen it, please come back later. Awesome. The episode starts and we see Oscar coaching his basketball team during a game against the Wizard Kelly All-Stars. And finally we get some Sugar Mama humor that made me chuckle, where she throws a bucket of popcorn at her son and makes his team out for a bunch of punks. You're welcome, son, she adds. Like, Sugar Mama still loves you, Oscar, but she doesn't let that affect her strong opinion on who to root for on the field. Now, the game goes well, but his best player, Michael, injures himself, and now Oscar's not so sure if he can make it to the finals. And Wizard Kelly does make sure to rub it in his face. He proceeds to show off all his all-star players and assures Oscar, you're never gonna make it, man. And also, given that Oscar's team just a few minutes ago stole the other team's pizza, the rivalry is already on. Nice little detail that Oscar's team is called the Snackers of all names. Coincidence? Maybe?
Maybe not.
Well, I know we also have the name Proud Snacks, where it's probably based on, right? Okay, Oscar and Wizard Kelly place a bet. If Kelly's All-Stars win, Oscar gets to live like him for a week. The fame, money, expensive cars, everything. And if the Snackers win, Wizard has to live like him for a week. And this was personally my biggest laugh of the episode. Oscar sums up his life as poverty, tears, and Sugar Mama, with Sugar Mama clearly being the worst of all evils. In the meantime, Penny's having a great time with Kareem, who is definitely not Penny's boyfriend, unless Oscar can use that to his advantage. This scene was great. It highlighted Oscar's selfish hypocrisy in under 2 minutes. And this episode combines the familiar, no boyfriend until you marry, and Penny, you're gonna do me a favor, and I'm actually gonna exploit you to the bone in the process. It's quintessential Proud Family, if you would ask me. And the episode actually throws a bit of a curveball. I thought they're gonna go with Oscar using Penny's boyfriend for the game, ultimately culminating in Kareem choosing Penny, with Oscar realizing at the end, even though the Snackers lose because of Kareem bailing on the game, seeing Penny happy would warm his heart. Happily ever after. It's not the game, it's the people you care about. But nope, it's actually a little more thought out and an even better storyline than that. Penny's actually the one good at basketball. And Oscar apologizes for pressuring her boyfriend into playing basketball and proceeds to do the exact same thing to her own daughter. What a selfish prick Oscar is sometimes, right? This scene is pretty wholesome. It references Penny's sports history, including football and her childhood. It makes Oscar look even more desperate. And you know, what's great about this scene? This often hectic show is just pausing for some character development, a little bit of soft piano music in the background, reminiscing the past. Now remember, we got piles of this.
No! God, please, no! 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 No!
So, Penny finally agrees, goes to play basketball, outplaying everyone in the team. She's really good, but as we see in a lot of sports stories, she loses herself, and most importantly, she doesn't have time for Kareem anymore. And as he slowly grows out of the picture, La Cienega has the opportunity to flirt with him and conquer him and pretend like she reads books. This bit was funny, by the way. Maya just subtly turning the book around, like she doesn't care about your whole conquest to win the heart of Kareem, but you're not gonna look like a fool doing it. So then there's a moment where I was like, wait, what the fuck? What did I miss? Suddenly we see Penny play a game between Earth and Saturn, facing an octopus. Like, whoa, hold on. Stuff like this, it reminds me of the singing panda from episode 1. it's one random bit in an otherwise relatively grounded show in the sense that it's about a family, a group of friends, basketball games, worldly stuff. And then for 30 seconds, she's playing a game against Saturn just to make the point, look how far Penny got. I know it's not canon in story that she's literally on Saturn. It's just hyperbolic to get the story point across, but stuff like this within this show doesn't really land for me. But where are we? We get to another wholesome scene where we just see Penny practicing basketball. The gentle piano music is back, and this show needs scenes like this. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Isn't this by far the best episode? Doesn't this feel much better? So Kareem comes in, confronts Penny with, hey yo, what the, I haven't seen you in a bit. I thought you didn't like basketball. And you see, that changes something in Penny immediately. And then here's the core message. You don't have to do this, Penny. Don't let your father pressure you. And Penny responds with, hey, you're throwing my own words back into my face? Which comes full circle, and I love this about the episode. The main moral learned within the story is wisdom both Penny and Kareem already have, but pass on to each other 3 times. So in the beginning, it's Penny saying, yo, Kareem, you don't have to do this. You don't have to listen to my stupid pushy father. Then the second time, it's right here. And it gets a little more serious because Penny's neglecting him and it eats on her. She's drifting away from who she is, right? And then the third time, it's at the end where Penny sees the same thing happening to him, but then with La Cienega demanding his company. I thought this stuff between La Cienega and Kareem was some throwaway plotline just to show that because of Penny's absence, Kareem's up for grabs, but it was actually a way to throw the wisdom passed onto Penny back at him for the third time. You know what I mean? It's a passing of the torch, passing of the wisdom, and La Cienega was the thing that put that in motion for the third time. And wrap it all up. This episode was about 2 people growing up, reminding themselves of their own critical thinking and judgment, 2 caring teenagers very different from one another, carrying the same values over to each other. No, this episode wasn't perfect. It's still definitely still not as funny as the original show, and that whole Earth versus Saturn was very misplaced in my experience, but this was miles better than we got last week, to be honest. Overall, after 3 episodes, do I like the show? No. The 2 episodes before this were too infantile in my experience to give this show a pass for now. Not gonna go all into that. My thoughts are on the record if you're interested. I'm so happy at least this show got better. Cautiously optimistic for next week. Cautiously. What about you? Was it a huge improvement or did you already like the show? Maybe this was your least favorite? I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. So I'm very curious what you thought of episode 3 of Louder and Prouder. Be sure to let me know in the comment section. I'll probably be back next week to give my breakdown on the latest episode. Did you like this video? Then there is a button to express that. Thank you so much. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya.